The 2021 League of Legends World Championship garnered over 300 million viewers, which is more than the Super Bowl or NBA Finals. It is estimated that 500 million people around the world watch esports at least occasionally, with 250 million watching regularly. With younger generations growing up immersed in the internet, the popularity of esports is only expected to grow. While the popularity of esports is undeniable, turning this into a profitable business has proven surprisingly difficult. In 2022, FaZe Clan became the first ever pure-play esports company to go public. It was initially valued at $725 million. It completely failed as a business. We made a video covering it last year. In October of 2023, FaZe was acquired for $17 million, almost 98% less than its initial valuation. With the high-profile failure of FaZe Clan, investors became much more skeptical about the viability of the esports business model. To be fair, FaZe Clan was an incompetently managed train wreck. The fact that they failed isn't necessarily an indictment on the entire industry. On July 26, 2024, another esports company called the Ninjas in Pajamas Group IPO'd on the Nasdaq, marking Wall Street's second experiment with a pure-play esports company. In this video, we'll explore the challenging economics of esports and what we can expect from the industry going forward. This video is brought to you by Differentiated Analytics, a website that we created which provides premium short-selling research. We conduct extensive research to identify companies that we believe to be either fraudulent, overvalued, or operating unviable business models. We then write professional-grade short-selling reports explaining our reasoning as to why we're bearish on the stocks. We've been publishing these short reports since January of this year. So far, we've published 11 reports, of which 10 of the stocks have declined in value since then, one of them by more than 70%. On average, our short picks have massively underperformed the S&P 500. If you're interested in short-selling stocks, make sure to check out Differentiated Analytics, link in the description below. That's differentiatedanalytics.com. And now back to the video. If you look at the Macau skyline, the most iconic building by far is the Grand Lisboa. Its unique tree-shaped appearance is unlike any other skyscraper in the world. The Grand Lisboa houses a casino founded by Stanley Ho, a casino magnate credited with turning Macau into the gambling capital of Asia. At the time of his death in 2020, he had an estimated net worth of $6 billion. Stanley Ho's youngest son is Mario Ho. While his father made his fortune in the traditional business of casinos, Mario saw an opportunity to make a name for himself in the emerging world of esports. In 2018, at the age of just 23 years, Mario founded an esports company called Victory 5. Victory 5 played the popular video game League of Legends in the LPL. LPL is short for the League of Legends Pro League, and is the regional League of Legends league in China. In January of 2023, Victory 5 merged with a Swedish esports team called Ninjas in Pajamas. Ninjas in Pajamas is best known for playing the first-person shooter Counter-Strike. The combined entity was named the NIP Group. Following the merger, Victory 5 rebranded as Ninjas in Pajamas. This was done to establish consistent branding across all the esports teams owned by the combined company. In July of 2024, the NIP Group IPO'd on the Nasdaq at a valuation of roughly $500 million. To understand the economics of esports teams, we first need to understand how the industry works. Esports is competitive video gaming. Professional gamers compete with each other at tournaments, with the winners earning prize money. Esports leagues are owned and organized by the developer of the video game. For example, Riot Games, the maker of League of Legends, organizes competitive tournaments all over the world. The League of Legends competitive scene is broken down into regional leagues. Currently, there are 12 regional leagues, with 120 teams in total. These include the League Championship Series in North America, the European Championship in Europe, the Pro League in China, the League of Legends Championship in Korea, and a few others. The teams within each regional league play against each other. The top 2 or 3 teams in each regional league qualify for the World's Championship. In total, about 20 teams compete against each other at Worlds. There's prize money at both the regional and Worlds level. At Worlds, there is about $2 million worth of prize money in total. In 2023, 22 teams competed at Worlds. The top placing team received $445,000 of prize money. The bottom placing team got a consolation prize of $22,000. A new team that is just starting out will enter the League of Legends Development League, or LDL. Teams within the LDL play against each other. The top-ranking teams within the LDL can challenge the lowest-ranking teams in the regional league to take their spot. Esports leagues have a variety of revenue streams. First is ticket sales. The games are hosted at large sports arenas that can seat thousands of fans. The 2023 Worlds competition was hosted in Busan, South Korea. Tickets for the finals sold for the equivalent of between $62 and $189 apiece. They also get corporate sponsors. For example, here you can see a Cisco logo conspicuously placed on a flag within the game. The games are live streamed on YouTube and Twitch for anyone to watch free of charge. Riot doesn't disclose how much money it makes from its professional esports leagues. But given the cost of the physical venues, prize money, and other expenses, they are believed to be making a loss. According to reporting by the Washington Post, Riot's esports division has never turned a profit in its history. But this is not so much of a problem as it might sound. The main goal of professional esports competitions is to keep the player base engaged. If you're watching League of Legends esports, chances are you'll spend more hours playing the game yourself. And the more time you spend playing the game, the more microtransactions they can extract from you. That's where the real money is. The esports competitions are basically giant advertisements trying to get more people to play the game and play it longer. This business model is very different from traditional sports. For traditional sports like football or basketball, they sell broadcasting rights to television companies. This makes up the vast majority of the league's revenue. You can only watch NBA or NFL games if you pay $70 or $80 a month for cable television. Riot, on the other hand, makes all League of Legends games free to stream on YouTube and Twitch. This generates very little revenue, but makes the games accessible to a far wider audience. At first, being a professional gamer might sound like the best job in the world. You get paid to play video games, something that most people do for fun. But becoming a professional is easier said than done. Just playing the game all day isn't going to make you a pro. For any given video game, there are thousands of people around the world who log thousands of hours of playtime. But the vast majority of them never achieve a skill level even remotely close to the professionals. While most people play video games for fun, esports competitors play the game as their full-time job. They spend copious amounts of time memorizing every millimeter of the game maps, every single possible strategy the opposing team might use, and how to coordinate with their teammates in various situations. It's a highly active, mentally exhausting endeavor. It's in no way comparable to your average Joe who turns on his Xbox at the end of the day to relax. Most esports teams recruit new athletes between the ages of 16 and 18 years old. Some of them drop out of high school to pursue their gaming career. Teams typically have a gaming house where the athletes live full-time. They hire an experienced gaming coach to help strategize at a team level. It's not uncommon for teams to hire a chef to cook meals for the athletes. Everything is taken care of for the athletes, allowing them to focus 100% of their effort on the game. For young recruits, this seems like a dream job. They get to live in a house with their teammates with all expenses paid, while also receiving a handsome salary. According to DigiDay, the average professional player in the League Championship Series makes a salary of about $410,000 per year. Of course, this number is dragged up by the top players who make millions, but even new professionals typically make more than $50,000 per year. While esports may be a lucrative career, it's almost always a short-lived one. Fine motor skills peak at the age of 24 and decline thereafter. The vast majority of people don't even notice this. But when you're gaming at the highest levels, every millisecond counts. The average competitive Counter-Strike player is 23. The average professional League of Legends player is even younger at 21. It's almost unheard of for anybody above the age of 30 to play any video game professionally. When pro gamers retire in their late 20s, they typically have no marketable skills, and find it very difficult to transition to other careers. But this could be a topic for an entire video on its own. Now, going back to the economics of running an esports team. To hire 5 athletes, a coach, a chef, and rent a house, that'll cost you at least $500,000 a year. And that's if you're recruiting new 16-year-olds. If you instead poach more experienced players from other teams, you can easily spend millions of dollars per year on salaries. Remember that the entire prize pool at League of Legends Worlds is only $2 million, and there are over 100 professional teams around the world. Of course, there is also prize money distributed at lower level competitions. Also, some leagues have revenue sharing agreements, where they distribute some of the ticket revenue to the teams, although the terms of these revenue shares are typically not disclosed to the public. Now let's turn our attention back to the NIP Group, which recently IPO'd. They operate esports teams across a wide range of video games, including League of Legends, Counter-Strike, Apex Legends, Rainbow Six Siege, and others. In 2023, the company generated $84 million of revenue. Of this, only $22 million came directly from esports operations. They separately have a talent management agency and an events business. For now, let's focus on the esports revenue. The $22 million of esports revenue includes a lot of things. Firstly, they receive prize money and revenue share from the tournaments they compete in. They also sell branded merchandise such as t-shirts. In addition to having the Ninjas in Pajamas branding, the shirts are also co-branded with the company's corporate sponsors. In some cases, their athletes are poached by competing teams. When an athlete breaks his contract, he must pay the company a breakup fee. The breakup fee is typically covered by the poaching team. And finally, sometimes they partner with the game developers to create custom skins or other virtual in-game items that use Ninjas in Pajamas branding. The company receives a percentage of the revenue from these microtransactions. As we can see, sponsorships, prize money, and revenue share from the league supplied the bulk of the revenue. They spent $7 million on salaries for the athletes, $900,000 of the prize money was passed on to the athletes, and there was another $7.1 million of other costs of revenue. This includes things like accommodation for the athletes, revenue share agreements they have with some athletes, and other miscellaneous expenses. This left them with almost $7 million of gross profit from their esports segment. In addition to their core esports business, they also have a talent management agency focused mainly on the Chinese market. Remember that most esports athletes retire very young, typically in the mid to late 20s. With their talent management agency, NIP aims to help athletes transition into the entertainment industry. This mostly comes in the form of live streaming. Professional esports athletes can live stream the same games after they retire. They mostly use the streaming services Douyu and Huya, which are basically the Chinese versions of Twitch. NIP helps the athletes with self-promotion, securing brand sponsorships, and tries to find them other opportunities outside of streaming. Their biggest success story appears to be a man called Nuo Yan. He used to play the Chinese video game Honor of Kings competitively. After retiring, he signed on to NIP's talent management agency, and they were able to get him cast on some reality TV shows in China. In theory, it sounds like a good idea for esports athletes to parlay their fame into an entertainment career after they retire. But I'm a bit skeptical. To be successful at esports, you just need to be good at playing the game. It doesn't matter what you look like, and you don't really need any social skills. To be a live streamer, you need to be funny or at least give interesting commentary while you're playing the game. Just being technically skilled at the game usually isn't enough, and to become a star on reality TV requires a different skill set entirely. The fact that one of NIP's athletes was able to be successful in this field is highly unusual and probably unattainable for the vast majority of athletes. Finally, the NIP group also generates revenue by organizing esports events on behalf of various leagues in China. On a consolidated basis, the NIP group reported a modest gross profit in 2023. But this wasn't enough to cover their corporate overhead. They reported an operating loss of $14.6 million. Despite the increasing popularity of esports, it is believed that the vast majority of esports teams are losing money. Last year, we made a video about why most traditional sports teams either lose money or barely break even. Most professional sports teams are owned by billionaires who operate them as vanity projects. With the billionaire owners willing to inject almost unlimited capital into the team, athlete salaries are pumped up to astronomical levels. It appears that something similar is happening in the esports industry, albeit at a smaller scale. For example, in 2021, the popular streamer and YouTuber who goes by the name Moist Critical founded an esports organization called Moist Esports. By his own admission, the team is losing 6 figures every month, which he is paying out of pocket. It appears that he has no expectations of ever recouping this investment. He just does it because he himself is an esports fan and enjoys owning the team. Additionally, in the late 2010s, venture capital funds poured billions of dollars to fund various esports teams. This infusion of cash has bid up the salaries of top players, and encouraged tens if not hundreds of thousands of teenagers around the world to try their hand at becoming a professional gamer. This has made the industry extremely competitive. If you want to win games and get your team's name on the map, you need to spend exorbitant amounts of money on top-tier athletes. It's gotten to the point where the prize money and other revenue streams just isn't enough to cover the costs for the vast majority of teams. While esports might appear like a glamorous and innovative industry, at least for the time being, almost nobody is making any profits. Alright guys, that wraps it up for this video. What do you think about esports? Let us know in the comments section below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Wall Street Millennial, signing out.